Hello, hello, it's Rachel. I have hamsters, and today I'm going to continue my Mite saga for all of you. It has been quite the adventure, but I'm hoping that by sharing this helps some of you out there who maybe have or will experience the same thing, because I know for me, the first thing that I was looking for when this happened was, oh my gosh, what do I do? And then stayed up late posting on different hamster groups and trying to message people who I thought had gone through similar things, how they dealt with it, because it just was so overwhelming. Um, so if you didn't listen to my previous podcast, basically about a week, so today is Monday. So last Friday, the Friday before Memorial Day, I noticed that my hamster Maurice was surrounded by little black and red bugs. And prior to noticing that, for the week up to it, I had a lot of bug bites like around my ankles and my wrists, and I couldn't really figure out where they were coming from. I do go outside a lot, but they didn't look like mosquito bites. They were like smaller. They look kind of like spider bites, I guess, but I didn't really think that I had that many spiders on me all the time. So it was a little disconcerting. But at least now I know what it is. So since that initial discovery, I did post on a few groups on Facebook, and I was able to get in with my vet. So I'll tell you the kind of the updates since last week. So first off, based on Facebook groups, I was told there's a couple things you need to do. So these mites, which I believe are tropical rat mites, they are like little black and red bugs. I'm not sure how they got to me, if they came from my newest hamster Thor, or if they came in bedding, or what. It could have been many things. So, but basically, it's like having bed bugs, but of your hamster. So they can't escape the cage. They will bite you as a human, but they won't make you their host. So primarily you need to treat your hamster and then isolate them and then disinfect and clean everything around them. So it's pretty extensive, and it's been pretty exhausting. Both of my hamsters lived in Night Angel Vista cages. Maurice was in a size large and Thor was in a medium. Thor is my robo. And so I've been in the process. Thor did not seem to have the outbreak that Maurice did. So I started with Maurice, and then I've been working on Thor. And basically I took everything out of Maurice's cage. I threw away all the bedding, or I composted it, and got it out of the house like instantly. And then anything that was wooden and savable, I baked it at like 220 for like 45 minutes or so. And then I looked at it super closely to make sure there were no mites. So I think it should be good. And then I put it in plastic bags and I put it inside a bin. So all the wooden things are like baked and sealed. And then plastic and ceramic I washed either in the dishwasher or by hand. And I also used a diluted rubbing alcohol spray, like rubbing alcohol and water, and sprayed it on the plastic and ceramic items. I also sprayed that inside of his cage. And I put some diatomaceous earth inside of his cage as well. Not once he was out of it. So you don't want to do that while your hamster's in it. But that's inside of his Vista. So that's how I disinfected everything. And basically, we don't know a lot about the mites. We know, or there's some thoughts that they can like live dormant for like 6 to 8 months. So, I mean, disinfecting is really important, like removing items. It's sort of like maybe could they live in another room and just like hang out there until another opportunity? I don't really know. So this is a little disconcerting. But yeah, so I'm working through all these details. There is also some speculation if they can live in the hamster sand. We don't really know yes or no. So basically I cleaned his sand bath, like I washed it with a cheesecloth, And then I baked it at 350 for a while, and then I put it in a Pyrex dish so that every week I can just bake the whole Pyrex dish. And if there are any bugs in there, I can clean them. So it's basically like my process was get everything out of his Vista cage, anything that could be saved, I baked or washed using hot soapy water in the dishwasher and or using the rubbing alcohol solution. And then anything that I couldn't save, like the paper bedding, hemp bedding, coconut soil, that all went into compost. And and then I moved little Mo into a 200 quart bin cage, and I used minimal, for the first few days, I just used a fleece blanket. Definitely not ideal. He was not super happy about it, but the one thing I did notice about these bugs is they seem to live on paper and wooden items, but I did not see them on anything ceramic, plastic, or polyester fleece. So it seemed like using a fleece liner was a great way to kind of cut them down from the start, because he did have quite the outbreak. So I was just trying to minimize it as much as possible. And then I just moved him out of the room that he was in so I could like fully clean that room. So that was my first step. And then we had a vet appointment for him on Wednesday, and then another vet appointment for Thor on Thursday. So because I was so intense about cleaning Mo and getting him into this new bin, the vet actually couldn't find any mites on him. So we weren't really sure what the problem was, but it sounded like it was mites. I had video. I got a video of a few of the mites, so it seemed like we're pretty confirmed there. But we still didn't really know. And but anyway, based on the information that we had, they treated him with it's called Revolution, and you can actually buy it at the pet store, but you don't want to do that. It is the same stuff that they use on cats and dogs for mites on cats and dogs, but you actually use it in the same way. You put it kind of on the back, the nape of their neck, or wherever they can't reach. But for hamsters, you need to dilute the solution that's appropriate to their weight. So you definitely don't want to do this on your own. I've heard of people trying to do this on their own to save money on vet bills, and like they end up killing their hamster. So please don't do that. For full transparency, so for Mo's visit to the vet, it cost me $85. So it was like maybe $40 or $50 for the vet visit, and then they charged me for the medicine that they had to figure out how to dose based on his size. So they weighed him and then they dosed it very carefully. So they sent me home with three different little syringes that are preloaded, and I just put it on the right behind his neck, kind of between his shoulder blades, once every 2 weeks for 3 doses. So it's going to last for 6 weeks, this process. And I think, I've heard various people say various things and the way they dose. Like some people are like, change their whole cage every 4 days. I think I'm just going to change after every dose. So I'm going to let him stay in his bin cage that I have set up for him now, which now has hemp bedding and paper bedding and cardboard, and then like some ceramic and plastic items. So basically things I could either throw away or wash very easily, nothing wooden. And then I'll change everything about once every 2 weeks when I do that treatment. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to keep a good eye on him, but I think changing right after he's had the treatment would make sense to me. And so that's what I did initially. So once I got him home, got him treated, then I put him in the new bin and gave him the new setup. It's not the best setup ever, but it's not the worst, So I'm trying to come up with creative ways to keep him entertained. And, it's a bummer to see him go from this beautiful Night Angel Vista to this 200 quart bin cage where he has only a few inches of bedding, but trying to give him lots of boredom breakers. And I put some, some millet hanging on a banana stand. So he has to try to get the millet down. So I think that entertained him for a bit. So just trying to be creative and keep him happy. And he seems like he's doing okay. So for Thor, I brought in Thor the next day. And Thor is my Roborovsky. I've had him about a month. So I'm not sure if these mites came from him But it is a little confusing because I'm not seeing the outbreak on Thor that I'm seeing on Mo. So that part I can't explain. I found 2 mites in Thor's cage. That's it. I didn't see very many. I still don't see very many. So I don't know if Thor's just like more immune to them or if they didn't come from Thor. No idea. No idea. But basically, we decided that if Mo has them and they can travel, they're clearly biting me. It's pretty impossible that they wouldn't go after Thor. So Thor's getting the same treatment, and I have to dismantle his cage as well. I sort of took my time with Thor because Maurice was the bigger problem, and then, and then I figured, okay, then I can deal with Thor, but it just was so much to do at once, all the sanitizing, all the vacuuming, all the stuff. So just one thing at a time. But so Thor went in on Thursday, and because they had already dosed out Maurice, basically Thor just had a really quick checkup. They weighed him. He weighs about half the weight of Maurice because he's a robo. And then they sent me home again with the Revolution, but dosed for Thor. And same treatment. So he got his first treatment last Thursday. And I moved him into a bin cage. Same thing as Maurice. So it's half hemp, half, I think I used not Clean and Cozy, the other one, Carefresh. It just was what I had. And then cardboard, and I tried to make it entertaining for him. And in the meantime, I'm slowly dismantling his cage, baking everything, sanitizing everything, putting it in plastic bins. And that's going to stay in plastic bins, I think, for probably about 2 months. I'm just going to be really careful with this. And the other thing that is important to do is, or this is what I hear, but these mites they're crawlers, but they're not flyers. So what you want to do is try to create situations where they can't get out and spread. So you want to put Vaseline around the top edge of the 200 quart bin cage. So that's what I did, Vaseline. They don't have lids, so it's just Vaseline along the top lid or along the top edge. And if you can elevate it, that's great because they're crawling insects. So like they're less likely to find their way there if it's elevated. So those are the first, that's kind of like the cage setup situation that I have going. And so now they're both in their new cages and still working on sanitizing, using the alcohol spray. I was able to catch one mite on a little piece of tape. It was crawling on Maurice's. This was crazy. I'm so surprised. Like Maurice had been out of his cage for 4 or 5 days at this point. I had sprayed the crap out of it with alcohol spray. I put diatomaceous earth inside the cage, and still I found a mite crawling on the top of it. So it was really small, but I looked really closely. So I got it with a piece of packing tape. I brought it to the vet. They were able to look at it under a microscope. It was still alive, so they could see it moving, and they confirmed that it was a mite. So definitely a mite, but they didn't really know what type. But yeah, at least we know what it is. Confirmed. And I am taking videos, and I'm trying to post everything that I'm doing along the way on my Instagram feed in case you want to see it. And, maybe at some point I'll make a video, but it's so busy dealing with all of this that I feel like the most I can do is just kind of try to document it, but I don't know if I'll really get enough good video footage to share as a YouTube video, but we'll see. So that's the big thing with handling them as animals. And then the next step is the diatomaceous earth. So if you don't know what diatomaceous earth is, it's basically like sediment. I think it's like maybe, I don't know, I can Google it, but it's some sort of natural substance. It's very dry. It works against things like bed bugs, and it's like a natural bug killer. Bed bugs and ticks and mites, anything that crawls but doesn't fly. And it's very fine. It's like a very fine dust that destroys their exoskeleton. So basically you spread it on the carpet, and then, or you can spread it anywhere where they're going to be. So you spread it in the cracks of your carpeting, you spread it on the floor, and then you kind of let it sit there for a little bit, and then you vacuum it up. this basically it'll kill the mites by it kind of like seeps into their exoskeleton and destroys them, and it also keeps them from going places. So I have it now like in all the crevices of all my carpets, and pretty much every day I've been vacuuming with it. I spread it on the carpet, I kind of rub it in, I leave it for 20 minutes, then I vacuum either with my own vacuum or I let my Roomba do it. It is kind of a lung irritant and I can feel it. So when you do this, you kind of want to do like one space at a time and not be in that room for like an hour at least. So it can be tricky. Like right now, it's hard because I want to really clean the hamster room, but I haven't fully finished getting them situated, and then I have to move them out in order to clean it. So I've been just doing the best I can, and mostly focusing on cleaning the areas around the hamster room to keep them from spreading. So I've been, putting it on the floor in the hallway and the bedroom and vacuuming pretty much every day to try to keep them at least contained. And then I also vacuum in the hamster room, just not with the dust. But what I figure is I'm vacuuming and the dust is already inside my vacuum. So whatever I vacuum up, they're going to die when they get inside. So that's a good part. And once I get everything finished, then I can like go a little heavier on the cleaning, maybe even do a steam cleaning. I know that's another way you can kill these kind of bugs. So, just doing the best I can. But I think the having them be treated and then having the carpets be cleaned, between the two of those things, so that it should work, because basically the fix for this is they will bite people, but they won't host on you. So if you can eliminate the rodent situation, meaning like if you can take away their main host, which by treating them, you are doing that, and take away the places where they would normally live and hang out until they find another rodent, then you should be in a good place. So that's what I'm hoping. And I guess we'll just see how it goes from here. So I'm not done with Thor yet. I think I said that. I have his cage almost fully dismantled, but I still have, I think, a few more wooden items to disinfect, and then I need to finish getting all the bedding out of his cage, and and then I'll need to like spray down his cage with the alcohol spray, and and then I just need to figure out a storage solution. I so much hamster stuff. So I think because I've been, they both had vistas and they both had a lot of stuff in there, it's kind of about finding space to put those things and then store them somewhere where I feel like they'll be safe. So I'm going to put them in these plastic tubs, and then I think I'm going to tape up the tub edges with packing tape just to like make them really, really airtight, and then put them somewhere far away, just like get them out of here. And then I'll revisit them, in a couple months once this is really over. So it has been fun. But I mean, I think so, all things considered, like I'm grateful that this is happening when I only have 2 hamsters instead of 5. I'm grateful that this is happening when I have when I have a lot of stuff and I have the ability to kind of like, I have a lot of interesting cardboard to give them. So, I think all things considered, like there's never a good time to have mites, but at least I have the space to isolate. Prior when I was living in LA, I had not very much space and I had hamsters in like every room. I don't know how we would have dealt with this. This would have been crazy. I'm really glad this happened when I have 2 bedrooms now. I can put the hamsters in one bedroom. I can clean another room, move them into that room. So it really does make a big difference. As much as I miss LA and I wish I was there to help with the constant hamster problem that they have there, I do have to say it's a lot easier to care for animals when you have the space to do so. And I mean, it is a gift. I will say that. So that's kind of what's going on this week. And hopefully by the end of this week, I'll have it fully under control. for right now, my life feels crazy because I'm changing my clothing like several times a day. Every time I like do more mite cleanup, I'm changing my clothes, and I'm constantly vacuuming because I haven't fully isolated everything yet. And so it's been pretty exhausting because I'm just like vacuuming. I'm wearing a mask a lot of the time too because of the diatomaceous earth is irritating. So I'm vacuuming, I'm moving hamsters, I'm washing my clothes constantly. I'm sorry, now somebody's mowing their lawn and it's like so loud. Vacuuming, washing clothes. Yeah, it's a lot. So I'm looking forward to being done with this initial phase so that then I can just maintain my little guys, give them their treatment, try to keep them happy, focus on just keeping them happy. And then in time, hopefully, we'll be done with this and we can go back to normal life. Anyways, so that is my journey so far this week. I will update you guys next week with any big things, but yeah. For full transparency on vet costs, I know people worry about that. I see people post about that on different, Reddit and Facebook. Basically, I paid 85 for Mo and 55 or about 50 for Thor because I guess it was probably about 50 for them each for the exam, and then plus $30 for the Revolution dosage. So $130 for both of them to be treated for the next 6 weeks. And then the only other expenses really that I'm incurring, I had to buy the diatomaceous earth, the expense of time, which is an expense. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I'll probably have to buy more bedding, so that's going to be an expense. But I think all things considered, bedding, it's not the worst thing ever. I haven't bought bedding in a while. Maybe it'll be like $30 or $40 to buy new bedding. It probably will be more than that to get them reestablished in their vistas, but that's a little farther down the road. So we'll get there when it comes. So in the meantime, I'm now very aware of how many wheels I have and how many Night Angel wooden products I have, which I love them all. And I'm trying to decide how many do I need? How many should I give away to a rescue? I'm curious how many things you guys have. It's so hard. I have so many wheels, but it's, we all know that like hamsters, they have preferences. There's times in their life when like this wheel works better or that wheel works better. And so I'm really hesitant to get rid of any wheels. Maybe like I'll try to get rid of 1 or 2 more because I would love them to all fit in my closet just on a nice shelf. So I don't have like, right now it's like I have too many, so they don't quite all fit. And then I have like a couple on the ground. And that feels like an arbitrary way to decide how many wheels I should have. But it would be nice just to have that like ease of mind. So, and maybe one day I'll have a 3rd hamster. I don't know. Oh, I probably shouldn't. 2 is probably good. Anyway, well, that's all for now. I hope you guys are having a good hamster week. And if you have any thoughts or suggestions, feel free. You can always shoot me an email at rachelgothamsters@gmail.com. I have my Instagram messages are always open. And you can also check out my website. It's rachelgothamsters.com. And I will post updates there as well. Okay, I hope you guys are having a good one. I'll see you next week.